So Dexter is 14 years old and he is completely deaf. So we usually like to camp in secluded areas where I can let him wander, but when we're places like this where there are people nearby, he can't hear me when I call him to come back, so I worry about him a little bit. I'm Jenny. This is my van, Milhouse, named after the Simpsons character, Milhouse Van Housen. This is my friend Dexter. He's my co-pilot. We have lived in this van for 3 weeks now. So welcome to the front of my van. This is my beautiful velvet teal curtain, one of my favorite features. And this is an overhead storage shelf that I put in. I keep all of my blankets and coats and laundry detergent up here. And most importantly, my Super Nintendo. That is the reason that I have a TV, because I wanted to make sure that I could play Donkey Kong and Super Mario Brothers. This is my full-length closet. I wanted to make sure I had space to hang clothes and make sure they won't get wrinkled in case I go on a job interview or something. So we have all of my toiletries and things are in here. And behind Dexter here, I'm not gonna bother him, but I do have a porta potty. So that's very nice to have in the middle of the night whenever I don't want to get out of the van. So we have obviously the kitchen area here. I love the kitchen. I wanted to make sure I had plenty of counter space. I don't actually do a lot of cooking, but I'm forced to do more cooking than I normally would living in this space. Here's where I keep all of my silverware and all of my food. This is pretty much my pantry. It's a pretty heavy drawer slides, so it handles a lot of weight. I love my big sink and my big faucet. That's something that I definitely would do again in a heartbeat. I can wash my hair in the sink, and I love that I can just clean it up like this. And then I have some just miscellaneous items down here that I generally try to keep hidden away because they're not pretty. My fridge is on a drawer here, and a little design flaw. If you're building cabinets for the first time, make sure and leave more than a 1/4 inch clearance at the bottom of your drawers, because I do have to move the rug to get into the refrigerator. But we have the Dometic freezer here and then the fridge, and it's jam-packed right now, but so that just goes back in there and bolts into the ground so that it doesn't come out when I'm driving. And put the rug back down. When I was building, it took me a while to do the whole build, so I wanted to make sure that I had a place to keep my beers while I was working. So I had the fridge running while I was working on it, and it took almost no power. I didn't notice any, it's super efficient. I didn't notice hardly any draw on the batteries. My water is under the couch. I access it through a door here, and it is a little bit of I have 2 6-gallon freshwater tanks and 1 6-gallon gray water. So I have to get down there and switch over to the second freshwater or change out the gray water probably every couple of days. And it's not the easiest thing to get in there. They're tucked back behind here, so it takes some awkward moving things around to get to. So if I could, with this layout, which I'm still happy with, but if I could accomplish that where the water was directly under the sink and I could just easily access it, I think that's a big game changer. So on the other side of the kitchen, we have my oven. It's a Camp Chef oven. It's an oven stove combo, and it runs on propane. This is a legit oven. It's made for outdoors, but it cooks really well. My oven / chip storage, that's where I keep my chips. So the oven is, for me, it was huge. I wanted to make sure and find room for that. I do a lot of just throwing stuff in there and calling it a day. So I originally was going to have a larger propane tank. And after I did some research, I realized that you have to properly seal it in a locker for it to be safe. And I didn't have room for the locker where I wanted it. So I ended up at the last minute just using 1-pound bottles. They're cheap, and I only have to change them every couple of weeks. So my batteries are also, you can't see them of course, but they're in the step area. So I sort of put those in first because I thought that was a good way to kind of tuck them away, and then built this cabinet around them. So batteries are under there, and a lot of my wiring is down here. My control panel for all my electric stuff is down here. My master switch and my fuses and everything. And here's my diagram so I don't forget what's what. I would say that the electrical stuff was probably 25% of the entire build process for me, because I had to do a lot of research. So I wanted to make sure and not forget what things were down there. I have 3 100-watt panels on the roof, and they're the flexible kind. There's no windows in the van. I was trying to keep it very discreet, stealthy, the entire van. So I went with the flexible panels, so you can't really see them at all on the roof. And that's worked out really well. And I also have a isolator that charges the batteries from the alternator. So that's a really easy, cheap thing to do, and it's just an easy way to get some extra power, so it was kind of a no-brainer. I have 2 6-volt AGM batteries. They're 225 amp hours, and I find that it's enough for me, but if I had the space, I would love 1 extra battery, or just a little bit more capacity, because there have been times when I've gotten kind of close and I wake up in the morning and just make sure that I'm still above in the safe zone as far as battery power. So it would be nice to have a little bit extra storage there. We are in the bedroom / office, a little combo there. So I'm very happy with this bed setup that I did. I went back and forth a lot between having the 2 bench setups where you can face people, but it's me, and I think that that wasn't really necessary for just 1 person. So, and I wanted to make sure I had a place to work. So for me, this is really easy because these are on bed slats here in 3 pieces. So this little groove here just slides across and fits in here. And it's pretty easy to operate. The mattress literally just slides down into a bed and back up. And I'm pretty short, so I think my bed is 70 inches long and 57 wide, so it's kind of between a full and a queen size. There are occasionally days where I don't go back into couch mode and I just stay in bed mode, but for the most part, it hasn't been too difficult to just slide it up. My grandmother helped me sew this fitted sheet. Since it's a custom size, she helped me sew the fitted sheet to fit. And yeah, I love the mattress. It's more comfortable than my last bed at home. So this is where I work. I work part-time remotely, so I did want to make sure that I have a place to work. So I have this nice big table. Obviously it's where I eat too. It's just on a little leg here that goes on the couch, and I've got a nice big place to work and hang out. This is Jeff. Jeff holds my keys and my hats and things, so does a good job on that. This is where I keep my inverter and my charge controller and some extra electrical wiring things. I have a 2000-watt inverter, so I wanted to make sure that if I needed to, I could use a hairdryer, which I haven't yet, and I have a toaster. I wanted to be able to use my toaster, which I use almost every day. This is where I keep my shoes and miscellaneous stuff, some extra books and bags and stuff. This is where I keep my clothes, so got 3 of these, plenty of room up there, and my bookshelf, which is one of my favorite features. I knew I was going to have books in here, so I figured I'd try to create a nice looking place to put them and get them kind of out of the way. And I am just the right height to be able to fit it underneath and look out the back doors. So I have my nightstand, if you will. So just keep some things I like to have, you know, by my bed at night. I have a telescoping ladder down here so I can get onto the roof and fix my solar panels or check on them if I need to, which I've already used about 3 or 4 times in the few weeks that I've been in the van, so that was definitely a great idea. This is where I keep my bedding, so once I bring the mattress down, my pillows and my comforter is all in there. And then this is a little spot that I created just to keep my laptop. I have an outlet down here so that I can charge it when I'm not using it, and it's kind of hidden. So yeah, I feel like that was a lot of space that would have been wasted if I didn't take advantage and put something back there. So I don't have any windows, and that's probably one thing that I would do differently. I think I focused a little too much on being stealthy. This is a Max fan, the newest model. It's great. It's necessary for sure in a van. I will probably supplement that with another smaller fan when I'm sleeping. I feel like it does get pretty warm in here at times. I do love this. It's the same stuff that I put on the ceiling. It's cedar, tongue and groove paneling. I like it because it's really thin and easy to work with. I wasn't sure what to do. I know a lot of people have windows, but I have this big open space, and I wanted to do something that wasn't just a white wall or you know, a gray wall or something. So I went with the chevron, if you will. I just recently learned that word after I did this. Okay, so this is my garage area. Here I have a ton of storage. This is where I keep all my backpacking gear, my climbing gear, extra toilet paper. This is another one of my favorite features. I wanted a place where I could cook outdoors if I wanted to. This acts as sort of an outdoor table, and I keep my camp stove in here so I can just pop it out and be more outdoors while I'm cooking and hanging out. So I keep some extra stuff in here. So I keep my camp chairs. This is a table that I set up almost every day outside, and so I keep my tequila. And this is on locking slides, so it stays in position here, and it also stays closed when I'm driving. All right, well, thank you for visiting my home. I'm very proud of it, so I'm happy to share it. Dexter and I are on Instagram if you want to follow us. My handle is jduff on the beat. So jduff, D-U-F-F, on the beat. I plan on doing a lot more posting of the van and my travels, and maybe some flashbacks to some of the things that I encountered when I was building. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. That's it.